need to
I don't think so. How many people understand this message, you know?
All right, we will get done with that conversation, but I'm going to come back to the very conversation we were having at the beginning where you were talking about the podcast. But to do so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very lucky that I will be actually introducing one of the most amazing people I have always wanted to interview. I mean, she's got a longer span of being a radio jockey, being a television host. She's been teaching too as well. So, you know, so I wanted to talk about pretty much everything. Who inspired her early life, you know, personality development, and for all of those people who want to actually pursue a career and that too in anchoring or probably being a host or probably behind the camera, I think she's the perfect example. So before any further ado, I'm very lucky that I've been actually joined by somebody who happens to be a media professional, social and communication researcher. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Dr. Sundus Mustaqim. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Welcome, Salam. Thank you so much
for
such a wonderful introduction.
Thank you very much for joining us, and you truly deserve that.
Thank you so much for having me in your
So
program.
first things first, okay, you know, the bit where we were actually talking about the, you know, that podcast where she was like that, you know, technology is actually creating that divide. What do you have to say on that?
Yes, you were very right at the start of the program that though the world is the global village now, the technology actually is bringing people together. I mean, it's like you can say hello to anyone at the other corner of the world, to any of your friend and loved ones. So I think technology is a blessing. It's not a curse.
True. Even if somebody does not want to talk to you, you know, you can still call them.
It depends
your
on your
friend on Facebook, you know, she's not replying, let me call her. Oh, bhai, kya ho gaya? Kyun phone kar rahe? Something like that.
So it's a blessing, I guess. It's not a curse. So it depends how you use it. It's all depend on your usage.
Wonderful. So I have another voter, ladies and gentlemen. So okay, I think we have the power now to proceed. So first things first. So Dr. Sundus, I think this is the most difficult question in the world.
What?
And interviewers say that, you know, this is a question which shouldn't really be asked, but I'm going to ask you today. Who is Dr. Sundus Mustaqim? Let's start from here.
Okay, I like your question. I mean, she is a pure-hearted, a pure, transparent soul.
Wow.
Okay.
And golden heart, and with she's still enough fixed to be oversweet, oversensitive to how to stay in a balance. Like I always try to keep this balance.
Right, but you know, for somebody who's actually on TV, a public figure on radio, you know, for them it is really important to be actually, you know, in the presence of all of those people who are right in front of them. They actually feel that they have the right to kind of say anything, ask for a selfie and whatnot. Do you think that disturbs you at times because somebody who's so sensitive, if somebody comes up with a remark which you think is not good?
That what makes us a real true actors. I mean, we are all doing acting. It doesn't mean we are double-faced. It means we are multi-faced people. We are multi-dimensional people. I mean, we have over the years we have developed those skills and skill set that what to say, how to say, and when to say something.
Yeah.
You know, in class I'm something different. In studio I'm something different. And I'm in TV studio and my radio studio in front of my students and of my friends. So in different roles, I'm a different person. That doesn't mean I'm fake or I'm multi-faced, I'm double-faced.
That's the need of the hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's how our communication skills are. That's what makes us a media person.
So for example, if I am to ask you, you know, how are you in a classroom? So can you give us a...
I'm very friendly. To ask my students, I'm really friendly. I mean, I'm lenient enough in my whole department, and all my students, they, especially as an invigilator in papers, you know, they really want...
I don't know whether you should say it on television or not.
Not exactly, but I'm not strict at all.
All right.
I'm not strict at all.
So, and are you the sort of a teacher where, you know, the students, if they continue to talk to each other and then you're like, okay, you know, Saptan, you need to stand up and leave the classroom?
Not
and
at
I'm
all.
going to detect your
I'll
marks.
say, why you are doing, what is the purpose? Okay, tell me we can talk about this. You know, okay, fine, if it's something interesting. See, if we all can participate, we all can have this conversation. So I'm not a type of person, okay, go out of the class and get out of the class. Okay, let's have chat, let's have discussion, let's talk about it.
So this truly tells me about what kind of a student you were when you were growing up. You know, that's where I want to come down to.
I am the luckiest person on this planet Earth when it comes to friends and teachers in particular.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got brilliant teachers, and I am what I am today is first of all because of my teachers, my parents, and my father in particular.
Mashallah.
And in the start of the program, when you were talking about departed souls from the armed forces and from your loved one as well, so that reminds me of my father. Instantly, I lost my father last year, and I request to all my viewers to pray my late father in your prayers. And when it comes to him, I'm not that stable so far.
May his soul rest in peace, and obviously, you know, you know, which is why, you know, I keep on praying that, you know, patience for the bereaved too as well. Right. But let's come down to personality development, because, you know, when you say that you are multifaceted, I think it's because of the fact that in every given circumstance, in every situation, you really have to put up a very different mask or probably a very different hat too as well. So today, when we talk about personality development for people or children who are aspiring to be anchor persons, hosts, what kind of personality do you think they require? And that too, you have to differentiate it between men and women.
Well, when it comes to professionalism, there is no male and female, I guess. There is no gender discrimination. You are an anchor person as a proper designation. There is no, you're a male or you're a female. I personally don't believe in that. But when it comes to an anchoring, so over the years, being an anchor person, both from radio and television, makes me extremely formal first. So now my body language, when it comes to acting, one of the directors, he said just last week that your body is stiff and you've got that formal personality era. So for acting, you've got that flexibility. So as an anchor person over the years, I'm like I'm extremely formal, and I like being formal in any way. So it of course it reflects in a personal life as well. So in personal and professional, now I like being formal in my conversation, in my looks, and everything. And when I like to be formal,
so that everything is professional. I think it's great.
Formal.
Yeah. All right. Which is why, this whole reason why I actually asked you about how, it is different for men and women is because of the fact that we have in the past seen a lot of Me Too campaigns, and we have seen that how women are more vulnerable to, a lot of different problems where they're not even paid enough, or probably as equally as men too as well. Which is why I want you to kind of, when, a lot of women are actually looking at you as of now, so just tell them that, how they really need to be careful in a working environment and how they really need to carry that professionalism rather than ending up being vulnerable.
To your health surprise, I mostly talk about men's right than women's right. Because I personally believe
I think Shahzad will be happy to listen to that.
Our women tend to exaggerate everything. I mean, both from personal and professional scenario, they tend to exaggerate. I'm sorry to say, but mostly negatively, they tend to exaggerate everything. And I think our men are the real victims because they took social pressure. They are taking social pressure. Our men are Asian men, not only Asian men, but I think men in all over the world, being a father, being a brother, they are taking much pressure on their nerves. And nobody is even talking about them. Nobody is giving tribute to them. Nobody is regarding, they're considering their pressure, the pressure they're taking on their nerves. So let's talk about men's right. It's enough of Me Too campaigns and on women's rights. So our women are already privileged, mashallah, being an Islamic state. So we are privileged enough. My father gave me this enough freedom. I'm sitting in front of you, I'm talking from this whole world because my father gave me this enough freedom. So our women are lucky enough. We have got this freedom of expression, and at times we tend to exaggerate this freedom of expression. So I think it's time to talk about men's right.
Right. Thank you very much for saying that, and I do feel that there's certain responsibility when we are talking about the freedom of expression. So freedom, very uncharted, can be a very troublesome thing, and we have seen that in Johnny Depp case and whatnot. And
exactly.
This idea
all my empathies are with Johnny Depp.
Amber Heard actually had to sell her house to pay back the $8.5 million.
Right, and this very idea of competitiveness, you know that there is not enough space for men and women out there. I think that is deeply capitalistic system, and we need to deconstruct this very concept. So
patriarchal society is enough of that.
Yes. So now coming back to I think your professional line when it comes to the academics, and you were telling me about your research, that how you did on the Barbie dolls, and earlier on we were talking about the gender roles, in that sense. So would you like to tell out some of the findings?
I would love to talk about Barbies because I've grown up watching Barbie series, and I was so Barbie obsessed person. I'm an old Queen Mary, and throughout my school life, I really wanted to look like a Barbie. I really wanted to have a figure like Barbie. So that is one of the solid reasons that few of my teachers said that I'm the first one in Pakistan who conducted research on Barbie dolls and on toy psychology. Though that was not so mature, but still I'm glad that I did that. My class fellows used to make fun of me. Oh, she was doing research on Barbies. But the point is, I really wanted to conduct research on that because, and my findings, I've come up with this conclusion that no human figure can attain a figure like Barbies. It was the research conducted in early 90s in America that we have got this broad coaxial hip bones, and we Asian figures cannot have a figure like Barbies. So girls who always wanted to look like a Barbie, please come out of this obsession, because we are lucky enough to have we have this broad figures, and that it's a blessing. It's healthy from medical point of view, from biological point of view. We are healthy enough. So no need to look like a Barbie.
But I think this is going to be an era of Ken dolls now as well, because this gentleman who's been casted as a Ken doll, he had to speak quite a lot about it. So gentlemen now, are actually being
Looking
brought
like dolls,
into
yeah.
brought into that kind of form where they look like Ken dolls too as well, and that to a Barbie. And in his interview, what he said that Barbie has everything. He has me, he
My
has the
God.
house, he has the car, and this is the most ideal life anybody could have. So please make sure that you do not take influence from that. I think that's important.
Okay, and thank you very much for saying that. And I also, feel, and I say that very strongly that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran that, हमने बेहतरीन नक्श पे तुम्हें पैदा किया. So we have made you on the best of the imprints, right? So what do we do is we try to shut down that voice, which is the wisest of the all voice, which is the creator of this entire universe, and then we try to listen to the multinational corporation who are just selling Barbie dolls and beauty standards to make money out of that, right? And also talking about this entire capitalistic system. So I do feel that so the digital is the new normal and the broadcast is fading away, right? And also by saying that so our jobs are also I think we need to add more skill set to our personality in order to retain our jobs, right? When it comes to that. So what are your views on that? I mean, certainly there is a lot of freedom on the digital media, but it's not that sustainable when it comes to the money, right? So how can we delve into that field and add more skill sets to us, which is sustainable?
Skill sets.
Yes.
As Marshall McLuhan, I guess, once has said that as fish doesn't know its sweat, so this is what media is playing its role and media is doing with us. So I think media need to play really important role, what to portray and what not to portray.
Yeah.
And on a receiving hand and the viewer side, on the receiving hand, it's our responsibility to have a check and balance what we are consuming every day and what we are listening, what we are watching through media. So we should have this check and balance on ourselves first, okay? So through digital platform, I mean, unfortunately, through YouTube and through social media, there's a much promotion of street journalism and yellow journalism. So we need to have this check and balance on social media and YouTube channels as well. Luckily, we have PAMRA and we have different bodies for the mainstream media, for the electronic media, for different most of our TV channels. But for social media, we are in dire need to have this check and balance on a state level that. Because so that one should not promote this yellow journalism and street journalism. Anyone can be an anchor. It's not a wise approach at all.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Right, a lot of people does have a problem with that, but again, you can't control things on social media because everyone has the freedom, and freedom has been diluted to the grassroots level.
Why do you even want to control things?
Because unbridled freedom can be very dangerous when it comes to that.
I mean, if we say that it can be dangerous, I think it can be literally opposite too as
well.
For
example,
it can
I
be
do
helpful
feel
too.
There's a lot of polarization in society. Why? Because of the unbridled freedom that we have. So I do feel that the choice and liberty and freedom has become the new false gods
I
nowadays.
believe that you just need to be wise in using all of these platforms.
So not everyone is wise. Do you think so?
I mean, yes, obviously.
But we have our own
time.
definitions of who is wise and who is not. I mean, something can be good to you.
And that can be very dangerous, when you see the trends of the polarization which are going on in the society. So people are extremely divided along the party lines, along the religious lines, along the left
and that's how we get
extremism. It's been done every single day. There are people who've been hired to do so every single day, which is why you would see tweets from one political party and you wouldn't see any single tweet from any other political
polarization
party.
Because of those streets.
Because
and that's what making us extremism. And my latest research was not on Barbie dolls but on extremism.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did my PhD and thesis on countering violent extremism, and my journey from Barbie dolls to extremism.
That's quite extreme.
It's a violent triangle because I used to be a fashion journalist at that time, but then this APS school attack changed my life. I mean, I would say I literally took that incident on my nerves. So I really wanted to do something for my kids, for those kids. Let's do something for those kids. So I got so emotionally disturbed at that time that I have to do something for those kids. So I thought, let's do something academically. That's how I have produced some research papers and this thesis, because I want to do something for my country and for those kids, and that's it.
So very quickly, I want to come down to because you've been doing so many things, so it's probably a mix of everything. Yes. And now you, alhamdulillah, have your own digital magazine with the name of Mixed Plate by Madam obviously. But so why didn't you think that I should particularly focus on one thing rather than because these days it's not important to be a master of one, I think being a jack of all trades is something which will make you survive away, in at least in our country. You know, you need multiple jobs, you need to do multiple things at one time to actually live a good and a healthy life, if Allah blesses you, obviously. So tell us a little about Mixed Plate and why.
And what was the story that you enjoyed the most while doing, you know?
It is certainly a reflection of my personality as well, from personal to professional grounds. Like I work in electronic media, print media, web media, behind the screen, on screen, from content writing to producing a thesis. So my life is like a mixed plate. So people used to tell me that she's a mixed plate type of person, and mixed plate is a proper terminology in magazine journalism, which means everything under one roof. So I thought, okay, fine, and because of my dire love with magazine journalism, so I thought, okay, the name of my magazine should be the Mixed Plate Magazine by Sundus, which means everything under one roof. So far, except religion, everything is there on my magazine. And I think jack of all trades and master of some. Then you must have the strong skill set. Should be I am on a mission to promote. You said at least in Pakistan. So including Pakistan, I'm on a mission to promote this, that you must have. You can be the jack of all trades and master of some. Okay, and I'm a TEDx speaker, and I gave a lecture in Malaysia as well, just to promote this thing, that you can be the jack of all trades and master of some. You need to have this strong skill set, because if you can have just one skill and one field, I think to survive, you need to, for your social freedom, for your financial freedom, and for everything, I think you need to have your strong skill set, and that comes through different platforms.
And we've spoken about it, how to actually enhance your skill set as well. But very quickly towards the end, one last thing, and that is, right at the beginning of the program, you said that, you know, whatever you do, you make sure that you do it professionally, right? So when we come down to Mixed Plate, you know, how do you think that you're going to do justice? Because you're saying that you're master of some, but jack of all trades too as well. So do you think you lack, you know, your professionalism in a few of the ingredients of the Mixed Plate? Probably. It's a
vice question. It's my first baby, and that's gonna be bread and butter, one of my bread and butter in future, because I of course I'm heading towards this entrepreneurship, because whatever you do in your 20s, and the moment you hit 30, you must have your own work, something for your own.
I don't agree to that. I don't agree to that, because otherwise, you know, KFC
in my whole 20s,
unfortunately.
In my whole 20s, I did a lot of experiments, but the moment I hit 30, I thought, okay, you must have something your own. So I'm heading towards entrepreneurship, and a few of our ladies like Musarat Misbah and this Nilofer Shahid. These are Nilofer Shahid, but the fashion designer. These are all my inspirations. So I really want to be the entrepreneur as well.
And we want to wish you best of luck as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Sundus Mustaqim, for being with us. You know, you're very well versed, and alhamdulillah, you've been making sense all this time as well. It was great to have you over here, to have this conversation.
It was a great conversation with you guys.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful to have you. We want to wish you all the best as well. May Allah make you a budding entrepreneur as well. May Allah give you multiple sources of income with which you can treat us to at times. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, if you are to actually draw inspiration from somebody, I think Dr. Sundus Mustaqim happens to be that one individual. Please make sure that you keep your focus towards your destiny and your goal, and make sure that you remember that it's the journey, it's not just the destiny. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Good morning.